Hello, my name is Scott, and welcome to my channel, Low Altitude Flyer. Today we'll take a quick look into the things that you need to do before entering slow speed environment for both the rider and the bike. There's a link in the descriptions to the full slow speed technique video, so let's get started. Runway 6 clear for takeoff, first turn.
The next thing Robert has is the 5 things you do every time you start off. Okay, he has 5. I have to throw another 6 just for myself. We'll talk about that. I have to add 1 just because of a bad habit that I have. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure you're in first gear. Okay, so it seems obvious. We have the big number, but we want to create that muscle memory. And again, we're going into this slow speed environment from 2 different ways. We might be stopped, we might be in our garage, we might just be starting off from an intersection. That's one environment, but we have to remember we're also going to be entering the environment from at speed. So when we're coming to at speed, we might be in 4th gear. And we're downshifting, right? And we might get down the second and we get up to the stop sign, or we're about to pull into the driveway at the gas station, or whatever the environment is where we're getting into that slow speed. We need to make sure we're in first gear. So we need to have that muscle memory. We need to think about that, right? So make sure you're in first gear. So even if you're just leaving your garage or you're stopped, go ahead and take the foot and make sure you're in first gear. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is what Robert calls covering the rear brake. It's not engaging the rear brake, it's just putting your foot on the rear brake. And again, standing at the stop sign or in your garage, that's pretty simple to do. Why do we want to have it over it? Well, there's a couple different reasons. One, we want to be able to use it instantly if needed. Remember that brake is going to be used for control and correction. So we're going to control our speed with that rear brake, and we're going to do a lot of demonstration when we go out to the practice today. We'll look and see what that does, but it also does correction. If we accidentally pop the clutch or foot's on that brake, that we can stop that action from happening instantly. In the pilot world, we do the same thing. On a pilot, we have the throttle. And if you don't know, a throttle on an airplane, it's not spring-loaded like the throttle on a motorcycle or a car. Wherever you put it, it stays, right? But we still leave our hand on it when we're in that slow speed environment. When we're taking off, we have our hand on the throttle. Even though it's not required to hold it there, we have our hand there just in case we need to abort a takeoff. Or we're coming into land and we need to do an emergency go around. It's there. We need that throttle instantly. It's the same idea behind that brake. We want it covered. We want to be sitting on the brake to be able to, for any situation, we want to be able to react immediately. So we cover the rear brake. But again, thinking about when we're going from transitioning from at speed to slow speed, especially like on a cruiser bike, who knows where that right foot is at, right? You could be up on your highway pegs, you're on your boards, it could be anywhere, but on that brake, you're not going to be having it over the brake ever when you're riding. You know, when you're at speed, front brake is everything, right? You would never even have the foot over the brake. So you have to think about that when you're coming into the slow speed environment. We're no longer going to be using the front brake. The rear brake is the key, is that, going to be do 100% of the braking at slow speed. We need to make sure we have our foot on. So move it from wherever it's at to to cover the rear brake. The third thing is to set the throttle. We've already talked about it. We're going to set it. We'll know what it sounds like, so we're going to set the throttle. The fourth thing is to get the clutch in the edge of the friction zone. So remember we talked about that 0, and then there's a point where it's the 1, right? The point where the clutch starts to engage. We want to know where that's at, and we want to be sitting right there. Again, just in case, or as soon as we need it, we want to be able to get to that 1. We don't want to search. If the clutch was all the way to the grip, we'd have to come out and search for where that 1 is or that 2 is. But if we have it sitting right on the edge of it, it's just that little 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch little blip that'll get us right into the 1 or the 2, whatever we need. So we have make sure we're in first gear, cover the rear brake, set the throttle RPM, and again that throttle stays the same on all the maneuvers. It's the exact same setting, so just set it and forget it. Now we have the clutch, either already in the position 1 or just in the edge of that, between the 0 and the 1. It's just sitting ready to go. The one that I've had to add, so the fifth one that I had to add for myself, is head up and eyes up. I have the bad habit of staring at the gauges or looking at that curb I'm about to hit or the pothole or everything except looking up. So I have to add this to my checklist of eyes up. Okay, and then the sixth one, or Robert's fifth one, is as soon as you start to move, you lift your foot off. Robert's fifth one, my sixth one, is as soon as the bike starts to move, we lift our foot and put it on the peg or put it on the boards immediately. We don't dab it, we don't drag it behind us. Remember, as soon as we get sufficient power to the rear wheel, the bike's going to stand up. There's no reason to have our feet down anymore. Okay, and for a short rider, not going to do us much good anyways. So getting to that zone, to that stage 2, getting the bike to stand up as soon as we can, that's critical. But it's critical for everyone. So as soon as you get it into 2, the bike stands up, you can get your foot off the ground. So that's number 5 or number 6, depending on how you look at it.